Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dan Abella. I'm the organizer of Rock Against PTSD, an event that has been designed to help our vets and dealing with their terrible condition. Proceeds from the festival are going to the Wounded Warrior Project, which has a fantastic record in helping our vets and their families. So the festival is actually on day three right now, and we're almost wrapping up. We're gonna have a VOD feature. So for those who haven't caught it, this will be an opportunity to catch it during the week, whenever you have a minute or two. By contributing to our festival, you do two things. Not only do you get to support our great musicians, you also get to support a really important cause because there are too many of us, too many vets out there who are suffering. In fact, more than 22 of them kill themselves every day from the pain of living with this condition. So it's essential. The festival is not over. In fact, this is the end of a beginning. I believe that this will continue and will move forward in bigger and better things. But it all has to start somewhere, and it starts with you. So make sure that you guys can really support us in however way you can, reaching out to other bands, money, just love, just spreading the message. Okay, so several bands have contributed their time and effort to make this possible, and one of them is Love Ghost, and I'm here to introduce them right here in a moment. Okay, guys, here's Love Ghost.
What's up?
What's up?
Okay.
How's it going?
For those who are not familiar with this band, with this really high, very, very talented band, I'm going to give you a little background who they are. First of all, Love Ghost, the makeup is Finnegan Bell is lead, vocals, and guitar. Can you just raise your hand? Yep. Okay, there you are. Ryan Stevens, bass and backing vocals. Daniel Alcala, there you go. Samson Young, good to, and Cory Batchler-keys, engineer, backing vocals. Okay, so this is for those who are not really familiar with this great band. This is a little description. Crawl into a space between ethereal grunge and lo-fi bedroom hip-hop, punctuated by emotional delivery and airy hooks. Love Ghost has been featured on official playlists on Spotify. This includes New Noise 3 times, including their current song Shine Like Gold, and also alternative beats. They've also been featured in Apple Music, Breaking Hard Rock 3 times, Fresh Blood and Rise and Grind, SoundCloud, Fresh Pressed, Amp Rock, and Rock for Running, and Pandora, New Punk Now twice. They were featured on the alternative radio charts for 2 months in 2020. They've toured Ireland, Japan, and played the main stage at festivals in Ecuador. In addition, they have thousands of admirers on YouTube, and whenever they have a hit, you can count them. Many of them will will listen to it. So welcome.
Thanks
for having
so
us.
much for having us.
Great. Well, first of all, I want to thank the whole group. Really, you guys really have done a splendid job from the very beginning in supporting our cause. I really like the way you went about presenting within the video itself, the festival and Rock Against PTSD, and also really on social media, where you're very, very influential. You see, we are starting a movement called Rock Against PTSD, which I think has been done. It should have been done years ago, but better later than never. I think that for those who are not familiar, Rock Against PTSD is an attempt we're trying to raise awareness and consciousness about vets who are having challenges. And as a counselor myself during the day, I find that it's often overwhelming. And more than anything is the lack of awareness that people have about PTSD. They think PTSD is just like being, having a nervous nervous twitch or whatever. But it's more than that. It's a life-threatening condition. So, and that's why we created this festival. And I want to thank you guys for really being at the forefront, the very forefront of making this happen. There were times when we were thinking of doing the festival, and we were really wondering with this, oh, should we even do it? Because we reached out to many bands, and some of them were all very sympathetic, but at the end of the day, it's walking your talk is where you make the difference. And you were one of the first guys to say, yes, let's go for it. So for that, I really give you a big shout out, a lot of props. So let's start off from, I'm just gonna ask a series of questions, and whoever feels like answering, you can just jump in and take it from there. So who are the founding members? Who are the original creators of Love Ghost?
I'm the founding member of Love Ghost. My name's Finn, and after that came Ryan from about a year and a half after the original creation.
Okay, great. And how long you guys been together?
I mean, Love Ghost has been making music since around like 2014, 2015, but Ryan joined 2016, Samson joined 2017, Cory joined 2019, Daniel joined 2019.
Wow. And I know that you guys must be really young, because I recall back in 2018 when we first were talking, we wanted to bring you in to do a festival to Mercury Lounge, and they said, well, how old are these guys? And at that time there was I guess one or two of you were underage. So but now all you're grown-ups and adults and you're going about the business. That's the key thing. Very talented. You guys really you guys really have a good energy, and more important, you have a good group energy. Because I've seen too many bands out there, they're always driven by ego, or one or two guys thinks he's top and everybody else. And I see that there's a real sense of solidarity. So that's with you guys. So tell me a little bit about your songwriting process. How do you go about how do you about creating a song and getting it out there?
It's pretty collaborative. For the most part. It's like anyone can sort of like come in with an idea, and then we just sort of like throw our own ideas at it until we have something finished. That's usually how it goes.
Normally, I mean, once in a blue moon, someone will bring in something finished, but most of the time, it's like we all kind of like
we all hop on it.
We all have our own like ideas and stuff that we.
So let's say let's backtrack a little bit. So let's say someone starts out with a nice riff, a nice rhythm.
Yeah.
Then you'll just throw it to the guys. Maybe another guy will pick it up and say, "This is a nice beat," or "This is a nice vocal." This is how it was.
Yeah, and then we just keep doing that until we have something we're happy with.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Yeah. So that's great. That's great. I remember when I was with my band, that's how we usually worked it. We for instance, I was really good with the choruses, but the verse, it was a great chorus, but the verse is terrible. So I would leave it to some of the other guys to come up with a good verse. Or sometimes somebody might come up with a good lead, and so that's how it works. So is there any specific kind of philosophy or what a goal of Love Ghost? Is there a general message you're getting out?
I mean,
Finn
has been this one for the longest. So
I mean, which is why it's so great that we're doing this festival for Rock.
Right.
A lot of our music is about mental health and kind of like, fighting for the voiceless and kind of, like helping kids with depression and kind of speaking from like a place. And that's one of the reasons why we really, really wanted to, partner up and do this festival, because it seems very realistic.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I really was impressed with your song Closure. That really hit me really hard. It was a really good song, and also the visuals, and also there a different. It's not just a old school video, but sometimes you use a lot of animations and different kind of composition. Yes, I think a lot of people your age are going through some really hard times and very depressed. They may not show it, but they really are going through difficult periods. And so I think that's where really your music steps in and gives them a ray of hope and possibility. It really resonates. At the end of the day, we don't know when these things will kick in, but we really need to always be ready. So what is your Do you currently have any kind of idea when you're going to start playing out, or are you already playing out in LA?
We have our first show back on June 19th, and we're actually doing like 2 shows that night.
Oh wow! Good. And
Yeah.
where in LA?
One's in Maywood and one's in Downtown.
Oh, great, great. And generally, how would you characterize your fan? Because there are a lot of people that are YouTube fans, but they don't actually go out and show up. Yeah. So your people, when it's yes, we love to see you live, or oh, I'm happy you just watching you on YouTube or social media.
It's kind of interesting because like over the pandemic we grew so much.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't actually really gotten to. There's like a whole set of fans we haven't really gotten a chance to actually meet in person.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
We have a lot of fans that are overseas in Europe and Russia, Spain.
So how do you how are you being able to really blow up? Because I see some of these songs and they got, I think one of them had close to 1 million hits. And I know you guys are really talented because I liked it, but I know I've also come across some other bands and I said, man, they only have like 300 hits, and how is this possible? So is there a formula you guys have where you just like real social media geniuses and getting the word out to everybody? How does it work out? Or you have maybe a hidden controller out there who knows how to work the social media?
I don't think it's that deep. I think it's just a matter of like being consistent.
Yeah, it's just got a lot of grinding and consistency.
Yeah.
Hard work pays off.
And by that means every day or several times a day.
Totally.
Oh,
just
yeah,
just like
every day.
constantly like putting the work in to like engage with the people that are on it, and like it's not like we're trying to like play algorithms or anything. We're just like we just sort of like
Yeah.
as long as like we're actively engaged with what we're doing on social media, like that does more than any like clever tricks possibly
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
But every song that we do, we try to establish at least like one like goal with the song. Rather
Yeah.
than just writing a song to write a song. I think it's important that like we take strong punches as a band, and like we put like a message in every song.
Totally.
If there is one.
So who comes up with the videos? Is that also a group effort, or do you have a video director or writer?
It's all a little bit different, I'd say. Like
Yeah.
each video.
We have a director, but it's kind of like some videos we'll have to like sit down and be like, all right, like what should we do for this? And others, it's just like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And others we just kind of wing it.
Yeah.
So really just it depends on the specific video.
Yeah, because your videos are very unusual. Like I think there's one. Is it Closure? It's the one with the guy, and you have these little graphics that are superimposed on the video itself. Is that Closure, or is this another song? I'll Be Fine. Maybe. Well, one of those.
I mean,
Video, their graphics that say they actually say what the song is and break down the actual lyrics of the song.
Maybe it's the Closure lyric.
That might be the lyric
Yeah.
video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Is that something you guys just learned to do, or is this it's part of that's part of a graphic package that you guys added to it? But it looks good because the videos are very different. So it's
Yeah.
not just the same old video. Like there's some bands that just want to stick with one style, and see you guys are really willing to experiment and see what works.
Totally.
yeah.
So
Like, whatever the song wants is sort of where we go with the video.
right.
Sticking to some aesthetic we already have planned out.
And how in the song, in terms of the duration, I mean, is this something you have? It takes a while to really come to the surface, or sometimes you'll have a song that happens within a few days. And is there any one?
It really depends.
Yeah, some songs it's like after a day in the studio, it's just like, all right, like there's nothing else. And some is like
And
after a couple months, we're like, all right, see if we can like finish this. Just
and so and that background, that's your studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just great. It's great. Here in New York, it's really hard. I remember when I was playing, it was just getting a small little space was brutal, and you had these like hardcore heavy metal bands, and sometimes you can't even hear. You have to be really loud, so everybody's trying to outdo it in terms of loudness. It's called the Music Building, right on here in Manhattan, in Midtown. That's where all the bands used to go to, and so that's great. So in terms of albums, I mean, how do you is there any? Do you have your a label, or you're working with a label, or how do you what's the process? Or you're focusing on merchandising? How do you get the music out to people?
Yeah, I mean, we're working with a team right now, and
Okay.
really grateful to be working with that team. They're doing a lot for us, and right now we're mostly just focusing on releasing songs and music videos, but we do it like very fast. Like every 3 weeks, there's a new song with the music
Sure.
and a lyric video, and then our kind of goal is just like once the fan base just is big enough that it's sufficient enough and running on its own.
Right.
We're about, I don't know, maybe like halfway there, a third of the way there right now. We're like,
Because that was gonna be my next question. Is like you already have enough leverage to go to a record company, or and start pretty much telling these are my terms because I got tens of thousands of and get a better deal. I know a lot of bands are going solo these days and don't even bother with that, but sometimes maybe just in terms of distribution, not necessarily other aspects of the production experience.
These days, it's like easier and easier to be more independent.
Yeah, that's true.
Doing the work and figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, that's true, and that it really is a good way. And you guys are obviously masters of getting the stuff out there. Because I really wish I could tell you how many bands I've seen, and they're really good, and they just have only several hundred, maybe 1,000 hits, and not just one song, but several songs. And unfortunately, when people do look at the number of hits, they say, well, it can't be that good. But sometimes they'll dig in and say, oh my God, this is like a hidden gem or so. Right. So that's the key thing. So so you have LA. LA is you have 2 shows in LA coming up. And so anything else beyond that?
We're working on some tours right now, but those are kind of to be announced. Yeah.
Right.
Still working them out. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. How have you guys managed during the pandemic? I mean, in terms of, say, put a lot of stress on, especially the creative people. If you're just some 9-to-5 Joe, it may not be that bad. You're just working from home, drinking bourbon, sleeping, and working. That's really what they were doing. They were not working. I mean, maybe they work at 3 or 4 hours a day, then they take a break. But musicians, creative people like yourselves, I know that a lot of people have had a hard time, not necessarily economically, but also in terms of getting together and really. So how did you guys manage during last year?
I mean, we spent a lot of time in the studio, just working, writing, recording.
Yeah.
We've been doing so much just in the studio.
Yeah, like these are the only people we've ever talked to in
For like a year and a
person
half.
for the past year and a half. Like,
Oh wow, so that's great. So you really took advantage of this year and really took it to another level.
It's like the fact that there was no shows to worry about rehearsing for
It gave
just
us
meant we
more
could put
time to
we could
write.
devote all of it to like just making new stuff.
yeah.
The studio where you are, is this part of a music building, or is it just a standalone?
It's a garage in the back of a casting studio for like commercial.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to.
Back.
So when you were going around playing and rehearsing, were there other bands doing something similar, or you're like, here we are, we're doing?
I mean,
I haven't seen too many bands.
Yeah.
Just kind of like took a break, or they're just like saving their music for when.
Yeah, they're waiting until they can tour, release an album again. But I feel like taking time off during the pandemic was the wrong choice. Like, I feel like people should have been releasing stuff and using it as a time to just focus on making good music.
Right, and you guys made the right move, because when times get hard, the answer is being even more creative.
Yeah.
And in your case, you obviously understood that and took it to that level. So, what are your musical influences, if any? I mean, is there any one particular group or anyone that shape your thinking, or do you kind of admire a little bit more than others?
There's just so many.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
I think we all individually have like very different influences as well.
Yeah.
So we're just sort of all over the place. And like, sort of a passion.
So you just like, you obviously your music is very unique, special. It's not the same old derivative stuff that you hear in other places. And so that's great. So you have your music, you have your LA. Right now, you're still talking to getting some tours. Are you planning on coming to New York anytime?
Yeah,
We'd love to.
that'd be
I don't know if we have any
awesome.
specific plans right now, but like it's definitely not out of the question. We just sort of haven't figured a lot of shit
We'll
out yet.
definitely be over there. at
Definitely
some
gonna be
point.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think after, I mean, the city's finally easing down, and I think I think there's like the Mercury Lounge, for instance. They still gonna wait until it's 100%, until you can seat 100%, because a lot of the clubs here in New York, say even Irving Plaza, I'm not sure I think they closed, but most of them right now they're still 50% seating. So you really gotta have 100% seating. So
Right.
I think some of them, like the Mercury Lounge and some of the larger venues, are waiting until that happens. So hopefully by the fall, that will take place.
Especially for like large venues, it's like it makes more financial sense to wait until like they can pack the place.
Exactly. I
The
mean,
place is gonna be more grateful for just anyone being there.
Yeah.
so besides staying in touch through your music, do you guys have like a fan base in terms of newsletters or podcasts or other stuff that
Nope.
Podcast mailing list.
We do have a mailing list.
Mail- Great.
We have a Love Ghost mailing list, and we have a very like close relationship with our fans on Instagram, and we have open DMs with basically all of our fans. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know a lot of bands are using Twitch these days. That's like the place to go with that for free music. Unfortunately, they don't have a kind of a setup where you can actually pay.
Right.
You guys were doing some live streaming though, like a few weeks back.
Yeah.
Was that on Twitch or was that on another platform?
It was on a couple different platforms.
Yeah, different platforms. Although we are looking to like do some Twitch stuff because I think that's important for our age.
Yeah.
This is where you guys really are. I think you're ahead of the game. Is that you really recognize that a lot of the future is a hybrid future, live and online live, and there is no way about it. Like I think Live Nation recently purchased this website. I forget now the name. They're basically a website that's devoted to helping artists, getting artists out there, live performances. And they bought it for like $50 million or something. So it's definitely the future. And it's another great way of getting the word out to people that may not be able to go to LA or some other place and hear you, live. And that's really the future. So definitely remember, back in the early 80s, you had video. When video was coming out, a lot of bands waited too long to get in the jam and the bandwagon. But you had bands like Duran Duran, for instance. They jumped in and they took advantage, and they had a very specific image, and bang, the music, bang, they just blew up, and take advantage of all these different mediums that are all coming up, technology based, because that's really the key. And a lot of bands are kind of sleeping on that. I remember I spoke to a few of them, and they said, "Yeah, we're gonna wait until we go live," and live mean like physically live. And I said,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, it's like you're missing the boat. But sometimes some people just gotta learn. They have their eye on the ball. So what?
It's time to start evolving. You can't get stuck in the past and how things used to be.
Yeah.
It's also like the fact that we have like so many foreign fans, where it's just like we could like wait to like engage with like our Russian fans until like we're finally able to do a Russia tour, but like this way like they don't have to wait several years until that's available. They can just like tune into the live stream.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about it is when you go to those cities, and now you build up potential, you build up a lot of, and then bang. So a lot of bands, they go there and it's just like a few hundred people. And they're very big ones, yes, it always do well, but there's smaller ones, and so yeah, you're building out that kind of like market.
Yeah.
You really get nothing is better than when you go to a packed house and you got that energy that is bouncing off you and them. Really, that's one thing I miss about music. When I was playing, it was like an awesome experience, and you guys are still so young. You have all these years to really build upon that, And
It's a hybrid solution for sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a hybrid solution for sure.
It's a hybrid solution. Yes, I mean there definitely is the key, and so strategizing, keeping your spirit up. So that's that's pretty much where we are right now. Again, I want to thank all of you for really supporting us. Hopefully, maybe next year, Gary Sinise, Gary Sinise,
Yeah.
was he's actually is a big he has his own rock group, but he also often joins other rock groups if they're raising money for PTSD. He's got his own foundation. So sometime later on this year, I'm going to reach out to him, because definitely what I like to do is maybe next year, if you guys are around doing this thing and everything's looking good, bring you in live,
Yeah.
and we can just rock it, really make it, you guys look again, keep doing the good work, spreading that message. I think it shows, and it shows very clearly. That's how you're going to set yourself apart from the other guys. You really are. You really care for, especially people in your generation, to really help, and and the vets, as well. I think they'll appreciate that. So, well, thanks again for your support.
Thanks for organizing the
Honored to
event.
be a part of this.
Yeah.
Really
No,
great.
absolutely, and we'll keep us posted, and anything happens. We're doing a live version of this in December. Most likely it's going to be filmed, but I'm going to talk to a few clubs and see how they feel about having some bands over and so on. And we'll definitely keep you guys in touch. And in the meantime, you guys, I know you have your schedule full, and just keep the spirit,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Maybe,
guys, enjoy it. Take it easy, and we'll see you real soon, maybe in New York.
Hell yeah.
yeah. See it.
See you, man.
Okay, have a good one. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.